Today we'll be taking a look at a very easy gold farm in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and I'll be doing a full walkthrough of the farm itself from my point of view or my perspective. At the end of the video I'll also be showing you my current gear on this character and my talents as well, so if you want to see the entire setup, I'll be going through pretty much everything you want to know about in this video. Now, the farm itself we're talking about today is Mana Tombs. This is a very good gold farm, especially like you can do this one as a raw gold farm. You can go here without any professions, but then if you do have some professions, you can increase the gold per hour you're making from this farm by quite a bit. So if you really want to min-max here, the professions you want to bring are mining and either herbalism or enchanting. Personally, I would go for both mining and enchanting, but in this video right here, I am playing on my mining character, so the only profession I'm personally using is mining. Having mining though will increase your gold per hour by quite a bit, and also having enchanting will increase your gold per hour by quite a bit as well. If you don't have enchanting on the character you're currently running on, don't worry, you can trade most of the items where enchanting is needed as well, so you can just send those to whatever enchanting character you personally have. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the pulls and how I'm personally doing the dungeons. This is doable as several characters or several classes. I am doing this on a Blood Death Knight. You can do it as Unholy or Frost as well, if you want to focus more on bigger pulls and higher damage output. But I'm playing this very safe and just farming some gold on the side while I'm watching Netflix or YouTube or Twitch on the second monitor. It is honestly a very easy gold farm if you're playing as a tank, and if you go DPS, it is a little bit more dangerous. But then again, you're farming more gold per hour by going DPS and dealing more of the damage, so if you want to do that, that's definitely up to you, and I do think at least being Unholy in the right spec can make this quite a bit more effective for you as well. So personally, I'm doing kind of slow and steady pulls, and instead of doing like big and risky pulls to increase the efficiency, once again I'm just doing this as a chill type of gold farm. Now this boss pull right here can be classified as a little bit risky, but I've seen people pull the entire first room with the boss, so I'm definitely fine here. The one thing you want to, if you're playing a Death Knight like me, you want to be aware of when he starts shooting bolts. At that point, you either want to hide or pop your anti-magic shield, or start using a lot of self-heals. So if that happens for you, make sure to have the anti-magic shield ready to go, and for this one right here, just don't attack unless he's on 1%, like he is for me, then just go ahead and attack him. But when he shoots those bolts, you want to either use anti-magic or you want to heal yourself. That attack can be very, very hurtful, so just be careful of that one. Now after that, it's straight on from here. I'll be going from Frost Presence into Blood Presence for this for the rest of the dungeon, simply because I don't know why, I just forgot to activate Blood Presence, and once again, being Frost Presence does mean you take a little bit less damage, but you also deal less damage, and in my experience, being Blood Presence is better for you. It just feels a lot more smooth as long as you don't do the biggest pulls in the world, but I am trying to just increase the pulls I'm doing while keeping it steady and safe while I'm farming here. And we also have a loot appraiser window in the top left corner. If you want to have this one yourself, you can either download Kiwi Farm, you also have Farm Log, both of those should work, but I'm personally using loot appraiser, and you can get this one by having the add-on called Loot Appraiser Wrath, and also combine that with TSM. So loot appraiser is pulling prices from TSM, and the prices shown right now are based on my server's min buyout price, and I'm playing on Pyrewood Village, which is probably one of the most popular servers in Europe. It is the most popular PvE server at least. But yeah, these are the prices you should be looking at, and you can see the green items, for example, have a certain auction house value, but they can also be disenchanted if you want to get even more gold from them by getting those essences and selling those essences. Now, if you really want to be in max here, you want to bring 1 or 2 more of these mobs and pull the next pack while the damage over time effects are active. That way you can just use Pestilence to spread your damage over times, and then you can keep on damaging the next pack as well without wasting 2 runes to apply those damage over times. So if you really want to min max, just make sure to pull the next pack before the last mob dies, so you can use Pestilence to refresh the timer of the damage over time effect, as well as spreading those damage over times to other nearby targets. So just chain pull as much as possible, really. Now over here you can do a more risky pull that I'm personally doing, but I'm usually doing maximum 3 packs like I'm doing right here. But you will notice that I don't really go low on health at all before I start nuking them down. You can definitely pull the next pack as well while pulling this pack. You can see just how quickly they go down over here, and I'm basically always above 90% health. That being said, I'm playing a Death Knight, so I don't really have any type of divine shield or anything to just protect myself if I go low on health. I do have some defensive cooldowns, of course, but if I pull too much, it's like it's a do or die scenario, and I would rather once again just play it safe and pull a little bit less mobs and maybe make a little bit less gold per hour, but not have that heart attack by pulling too many mobs and going way low on health. Either way, right here we pull all of these packs and we try to get a couple of them down as low as possible before pulling that terror, which can fear us like it did right now. Be aware of that fear and just try to either avoid it, which is kind of difficult unless you're using bloodworms and he fears those bloodworms instead of you. But if he does fear you, you can either use a trinket, if you have a PvP trinket for example, or you can look at him and like pre-defensive his fear, either using anti-magic shield or using some defensive cooldowns as well. Now in most cases that won't be necessary, and I think most of you guys will have better gear than I personally have as well. So even though I'm getting a lot of gold right now, we're sitting on 74 gold in looted item value, as well as 11 gold in currency looted as well, in 7 minutes. That means we're right now making way over 600 gold per hour at the current trajectory. Now there's not a lot happening before the boss itself, so I'm going to be using this section of the video to promote my gold guide as well, and if you want to have even more gold farms in Wrath, definitely consider checking this one out through the link down below. I'll be talking even more in depth about mana tombs and also TBC farms in general, as well as other types of gold farms in that gold guide, and also when you buy the guide you get access to a private Discord server where I'll be posting even more stuff about mana tombs specifically, and also old content farms and more about Wrath farms as well. So if you want to make more gold in Wrath of the Lich King, definitely consider checking that one out. It will be updated throughout the expansion, and when you buy the guide once, you will get those updates for free. People that bought the guide has already made over 100,000 gold, and several of them have made hundreds of thousands, so definitely check it out so you don't miss out. That being said, we are doing the last pull right now before the boss, and once again, for the mobs it's literally just tank and spank, and for this boss right here, you want to pull off as many DPS cooldowns as possible, just get him down as quickly as possible and be aware that he can stun you. As you will see from the boss itself, he will cast a stun every now and then. Now that one isn't really too dangerous unless you're doing this at like level 70 or something, or you're doing this with low gear or anything like that. It's pretty much a tank and spank boss as well, but I prefer just dealing as much damage as possible as quickly as possible here and just getting him down as quick as possible. So there you can see he casted something called a Crystal Prison, and even with my gear it took me down to about 55% of my health, so it's not really something you have to be on the lookout for, but you want to make sure you're staying at as close to max health as possible when that is being cast. Now you can also see that the boss loot is being counted as 0 copper right here, because it's not counting the vendor value of those items. So the scimitar of the Nexus Stalkers, for example, is vendoring for I think it's 7 or 8 gold, and it's counted as 0 copper in the loot appraiser window. So even though right now we have made 140 gold, in reality we have made 150 gold, more than that as well, thanks to those vendor values. So we're only counting auctionable items here, as well as raw gold looted, not the actual vendor stuff, so the grays and the boss loot. So we're making even more gold than it says in the loot appraiser window, and it's really like, it's really close to and probably above 600 to 700 gold per hour for most of you guys, and a lot of it is going to be raw gold. You can vendor these items to you can vendor them to a vendor right outside the dungeon, and the things you're selling on the auction house you can sell super quickly. Now, you will also have noticed, if you're paying attention to the video, that the second boss, the one that I just killed, can be mined. So if you have mining, just simply mining that boss will give you materials worth anywhere between 10 and 40 gold every single time. So simply having mining for the purpose of going for that second boss will increase your gold per hour substantially. So once again, having mining is a big bonus here. And on my map right now, in the top right corner, we can see that we also have a mining vein. You will have 2 mining veins throughout the instance, and this is kind of a little bit RNG on how much gold you will make from the instance itself, as some mining veins will be more profitable than others. Like for example right now, fell irons are selling for a bit, and also like if you get a rich vein, it will give you more materials than a regular vein. So make sure you have find minerals active while you're doing the dungeon, and if you have both herbalism and mining, use an add-on or something that can track both at the same time. That way you're looting everything you can while inside the dungeon. Once again, my recommended professions for this farm is having both mining and enchanting, but the enchanting part you don't have to have on the character you're farming with. You can send those items to a different character if you want to. That being said, to do that you would have to keep the items in your bag, go to a mailbox, and then mail those items away, which can be a tedious process. So if you want to do everything and just do it like you can be on one character, farm indefinitely, then having mining and enchanting on the same character you're farming with might be the way to go. So far we have been farming this one for 12.5 minutes, and we have made 160 gold, if I do my math correctly here. Yeah, 161 gold. We're just mining the adamantite deposit right now as well, giving us 3.2 gold, so not really too much gold from the adamantite, but we have made over 160 gold in value, plus we have like 10 to 15 gold in vendor value as well, from the boss loot and grey items that are not being counted. So we're sitting at around 175 gold right now in 12.5 minutes, well, almost 13 minutes. We're making right over 200 gold per run, and each run should take you less than 15 minutes, especially if you optimize it. I do believe that personally I spent about 16 minutes on this run right here, but it can definitely be optimized even further as well by doing bigger pulls that I'm doing, or going unholy to deal more damage, or doing bigger pulls that I'm doing as well. I'm just not really trying to be that optimal here. I'm just farming some gold, having some fun, and taking you guys through how I'm farming here and showing you the pulls that I'm personally doing. So here we can see I also found a rich adamantite vein, which should hopefully give us more gold than the previous one, considering this one is a rich one and the other ones were like regular veins. You can also see that, for example, right here, every time that I pull a Nexus Terror, I try, emphasis on try, I try to remember to kill that one first, because that way he's not gonna cast any fears on me, and those fears are annoying and they're also downtime, so it takes away a bit of your efficiency. So if you can, just kill those Nexus Terrors first, and because you're playing a DK, you don't have to worry about mana burns, for example. Now, if there's a healer in the group, so like an ethereal priest, I usually take out the priest first, but if there's no priests, there's no reason not to go for the terrors as soon as possible. So just get those down, get as few fears casted on you as possible, and it's going to be a smooth ride. It is honestly a super simple farm that a lot of people can do. You don't need the best gear in the world for this, and you also don't need to have both herbalism and mining and fly around. You can farm in an instance, which is fantastic. It basically means you don't have to worry at all about like competition in the open world, for example. You can go inside the instance, farm some gold, chill out, and just watch your pockets expand. So here we go, we only have one more pool to do now before the boss itself, and honestly, playing as a DK, this one is super simple. There's no real dangers with this farm, and I used to do this one at the end of TBC as well, and back then it was a little bit more difficult because, well, now we're 10 levels higher, we have a bigger health pool, and we have more defense values, we have more attack power, and overall it's just way easier to do this one at level 80 than it was at level 70, so it's just a super chill and super good gold farm. You can also see that we're getting some consortium reputation, which might be worth knowing about for the future as well, just to craft gems and also get some other kind of interesting recipes that you might just want to have, because why not, right? For the boss itself, I usually just focus on the boss, throw some damage over time, use some heart strikes, and those heart strikes usually takes care of the ends, so you don't have to worry about those either. Now you can see we're sitting on 15 minutes and 45 seconds, the boss is about to go down, so if we can shave off 1 minute here from the pool itself or from the run, we can do 4 runs per hour, giving us just about 800 gold per hour from this farm. Now if we round this one up to 20 minutes, for example, just for those vendor trips, then that gives us 3 runs per hour and 600 gold per hour, and that is rounding up, and I'm doing safe pulls, so it's definitely doable in less than 15 minutes here. That way you can do 4 runs per hour and get upwards of 800 gold per hour by doing this farm. So now we're going to go out of the dungeon itself, we're going to vendor these items. Now once again, the grey items and also the blue items are not being counted in the loot appraisal window. So right now we have made 189 gold in looted values, and then we also have the vendor values, which are definitely more than 11 gold, so we're getting more than 200 gold from one lockout or one run. Now running back and doing everything right here took us 17 minutes, so once again, if we can shave off 2 minutes on the farm itself, that means we can do 4 runs per hour and make upwards of 800 gold per hour. Now personally I'm using a scrapper add-on, it's called Scrapper or a Scrap Merchant, to sell everything automatically, or it's selling the items that are pre-selected to be sold automatically, so it's super simple. Now we have sold all the items and we are ready to go for one more run. Okay, so now let's take a look at my gear and my talents. So first of all, my talents. I'm doing this as a Blood Spec the Death Knight. I have tried as Frost as well, I didn't really get it to work. I do believe playing as the Unholy can be better here if you have the perfect spec for Unholy, and then also the better gear you have, the better off you are. So I'm playing as a Deep Spec Blood Death Knight with some points into Unholy to get both Corpse Explosion and the On a Pale Horse talent, which I honestly just used for leveling purposes and mining purposes in Wrath, and I haven't really bothered respecking since. So it's kind of a combination spec, you can definitely make it better, and once again here are all my blood talents. After that, this is my gear. I'm running on 3466 gear score, real basic gear with some leveling gear and also some real easy to obtain gear from heroic dungeons in Wrath Classic. So there you have it guys, a real simple solo gold farm in Wrath Classic that can give you a lot of gold per hour, upwards of at least 600 gold, probably closer to 750 or 800 gold per hour as well, and I think the average gold per hour here should be about 750, based on the average person having even better gear than I personally have. So if you want to make some gold in Wrath Classic right now, definitely do consider checking this one out, especially if you don't know where to farm, and this one you just have to level up a Death Knight, grab one profession, aka mining, which is super simple to skill up, and you are ready to go. You don't even need to have mining theoretically, but having mining will increase your gold per hour from the farm. But you can definitely go here as a raw gold farm as well if you want to. And once again, it's a no competition farm. There's no one you're competing against here, except for people that are selling the same materials as you are on the auction house, so like there's no competition in the open world, it's an instant gold farm, and super simple. I hope you enjoyed the video, and more than anything, I hope it helps you make some gold for the rest of Wrath Classic. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the channel for more Wrath Classic content, and once again check out my Wrath Classic Gold Guide through the link down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.